What's up, guys? It's I'm back here with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be doing my top 10 superstars from each brand, Raw and Smackdown, and I will have 5 from NXT, doing my predictions for the 2019 Superstar Draft. The draft is tonight. It will start on SmackDown Live and it will end on Monday Night Raw next week on Columbus Day, and it's going to be epic because we do not know where these people are going. We could see tag teams split up, relationships split up. We could see people go on new brands, because I know Carmella, Randy Orton, and a couple other people have not switched brands ever since the original brand split in 2016. So let's get down with the predictions. Oh, before I start the predictions, I know some of these people might stay on the same brand, but these are just my top 10 people who are going to get picked first before anybody else. So I have number 1 for Raw is, of course, the Universal Champion, Seth Rollins. I think Seth is going to stay on Raw, not only because he has the Universal Championship, because Raw really needs him for maybe Survival Series. Raw needs him for maybe to be a big star on Monday Night Raw. Next up, we have the Raw Women's Champion, Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, I picked her to go on Raw. I picked her to stay on Raw because not only is she the Raw Women's Champion, but I think she does better on Monday Night Raw than she did on SmackDown Live. I mean, she made the SmackDown Live Women's title famous and what everybody talked about, but I think that Raw is just a better fit for the man. Next up, we have Braun Strowman. Braun, I think, is going to keep staying on Raw because I think Raw is a bigger platform for him, and I think he could have maybe better rivalries on Raw. He is one of those people as well that has been on Raw since the brand extension in 2016. Next up, we have Randy Orton. He is another name that has stayed on SmackDown since the original brand split in 2016, but I think it's time for her to switch the brands and go to Monday Night Raw. I think he will start way better storylines. Maybe we'll get to see him face off against Seth, maybe against Braun if Braun turns into a face, and a couple other names that will come later on the list. But the next name we have is Kofi Kingston. He's another name that maybe could battle with Randy Orton, like I just said. So Kofi Kingston is another name. I think that they might split up the New Day. I think Kofi's going to go to Raw. Xavier Woods, Big E are going to go to SmackDown. I know I'm spoiling one of my picks for the draft earlier, but I think Kofi's going to Raw because I think they need to split up the New Day and see what they could do as singles competitors. Next up, we had The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt, or The Fiend, whatever you want to call him, I think he's a better fit on Raw. I just don't know why, but I think Bray Wyatt seems like more of a Raw guy than a SmackDown guy, so that's why I'm picking Bray Wyatt to stay. Who did I put next? So the next person I put is Rusev. Rusev, I think he has a storyline going on with Bobby Lashley, and I think that Bobby Lashley is also going to stay on Monday Night Raw, even though he's not on my top 10 list. I just think Rusev will stay on Raw and have a major storyline and be one of the top stars on Monday Night Raw. Next up is kind of a tag team, but they are going to count as one person or one draft pick. I think Bliss and Cross are going to stay on Monday Night Raw. I know they have been switching back and forth, not only from the wild card rule, but as well as the WWE Women's Championships. But I think they're going to stay on Monday Night Raw and maybe be a dominant tag team in the women's tag team division. Next up, we have Daniel Bryan. I think that Daniel Bryan has been doing good on Monday Night Raw, but it's time for him to switch boats and go on to, he has been doing good on SmackDown. I think it's time for him to switch to Monday Night Raw. I just don't know why, but I think he's done everything that he could do on SmackDown Live. I keep saying SmackDown Live. I need to get used to SmackDown or Friday Night SmackDown. But I think that Daniel is switching to Raw. And the last pick of the top 10 for Monday Night Raw, I'm picking the Raw Tag Team Champions, Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode solely because they are the Raw Tag Team Championships, and I do not think they're going to put a Raw title on SmackDown Live, so that Friday Night SmackDown. So that's why I am picking Roode and Ziggler to stay on Raw. Okay, let's get to the SmackDown side of this. We will have Roman Reigns against Seth, as we know. I do think that Roman is going to win the match, so I think he will be SmackDown Live's first draft pick because SmackDown needs a big star now that they have moved to Fox, and so I think Roman is that star to make it like a dominant force in the brand split because SmackDown always got the short end of the stick when it comes to stuff. Raw always got the major things, and SmackDown was just like, oh, we'll give you something. So the second pick is Charlotte Flair, based off of being the SmackDown Live Women's Champion, but that might change because she is facing tonight on SmackDown Bayley for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. So maybe we'll get to see her switch to Raw, but I think she will retain a title and stay on SmackDown. Next up, we have AJ Styles, the United States Champion. AJ, he does do good on Monday Night Raw, but I just think that AJ Styles is better on SmackDown because SmackDown is the house that AJ Styles built. That's his motto, and I think he does way better on SmackDown than he does on Raw. Next up is a tag team. We have Big E and Xavier Woods. I said them earlier that they were going to get broken up, so I think that Big E and Xavier will be on SmackDown and maybe be one of the top stars on the SmackDown Live roster. And I keep saying SmackDown Live, even though I'm trying not to say it. Next up, we have Rey Mysterio. I was really surprised why I put him this high on the list, but judging by he has one of the top storylines in WWE right now, I think that Rey is going to be maybe a top star on SmackDown Live again because Raw just really hasn't been going that well for him, and he usually was a SmackDown guy in like the Ruthless Aggression era and the Attitude era, so he is going to get switched to SmackDown. Next up, we have the Boss. Sasha Banks has been on Raw since the original brand split, and I think it's time for her to switch over. She has the blue hair, so she needs to be on the blue brand. Next up, we can't have AJ Styles without the OC. So I think that the OC is going to get switched to SmackDown. The OC, I think, are doing good on Monday Night Raw. They have a good rivalry with the Viking Raiders, but I think that SmackDown Live just might be the land of opportunity for them, because that's what SmackDown Live was originally supposed to be, the land of opportunity. So I think that they're going to get switched there and have better opportunities for the championships. Next up, we have Bayley and the Boston Hug Connection are going to become the top tag team of SmackDown. Or whatever they're going to come up with. I don't think they're going to name it Boston Hug Connection. I think they're coming up with a new name, but I think that Bayley and Sasha will be on SmackDown. Next up, we have Eric Rowan, and Luke Harper, the Bludgeon Brothers, even though they don't call them that anymore. I think that they're going to get stayed on SmackDown, and I think they're going to have a rivalry with Big E and Xavier Woods, and they're going to be the two tag teams on SmackDown. And the final pick for SmackDown in the top 10 list is King Corbin. As we all know, Baron Corbin did way better on SmackDown than he did on Monday Night Raw. Even though he has had good runs, has had good storylines like Constable Corbin, GM Corbin, and now King Corbin, but I think he did way better, and he was a better, um, way better character on SmackDown. Now we get to the five. Wait, why am I doing 10? The five picks. My predictions, because at the original, the first one, they had 5 people from NXT come up. So I think it's gonna be 3 guys. Wait, right? No, I think it's gonna be 2 guys, 2 girls, and 1 tag team. So the first guy I'm picking is Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano has been on NXT. He is kind of the, I don't know what you want to call it, like the golden child of NXT or whatever you want to call it, the best on NXT. But I think it's time for him to move up, and I think he's going to move to SmackDown. Next up, we have Rhea Ripley is going to get moved to Raw. I think Raw's a better fit with her, and she could have storylines. I don't know if this is 100% going to happen because she is now feuding with Shayna Baszler, but you never know. Bianca Belair could just be the one to go after Shayna Baszler. So I think that if Rhea moves up, she is going to go with Raw. Next up, we have the Street Profits, and I think they're going to get moved to Monday Night Raw. They have mostly been on Monday Night Raw ever since they had some beignets in the back, so I think that they're going to stay on Raw. Next up, we have from NXT UK, we have Cassius Ohno. Cassius Ohno is one of the best wrestlers, I think, on NXT and NXT UK. He is a phenomenal wrestler that will constantly make people look like they are $1,000,000. So I think that Cassius Ohno needs to get the credit, and he is going to move to SmackDown Live. No, Monday Night Raw. Cassius Ohno is going to be the Monday Night Raw. He seems like a Raw guy. But the final one, the last girl, is going to be Candice LeRae. I think that she's going to move to SmackDown Live solely because she is married to Johnny Gargano, and I think WWE is trying not to split the split the couples up, so I think that she is also going to move to SmackDown. But those NXT superstars are just predictions if they actually bring people up into the draft. Well, those are my predictions for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. The draft of 2019 for WWE comes on in just a little bit. It's going to kick off on SmackDown, and it is going to end on Monday Night Raw. Stay tuned because I will be doing my review on the whole draft, and I will see how many predictions I got right. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, champs.